as we are still on the issue of fruit, we are Kenyans. Tunapenda pudding. So we'll combine banana, avocado, and melon, and pineapple, all in one dish. How advisable is that?
Now, we don't recommend that we mix our fruits. I don't know why people mix fruits.
Hey.
Because, you see, we need to understand that when we mix all those fruits, number one, the rate of nutrient absorption usually gets compromised. And of course, you're increasing the risk of getting conditions like gas. You know, you might end up getting a lot of gas, the acidity, etc. So, but in case you have to mix, then we recommend that you don't mix citrus fruits and other fruits. I've seen people mixing, for example, ripe banana and ripe banana and passion fruits, watermelon is there. So then you need to be very keen. Otherwise, you stand the risk of getting some of the conditions like gas, acidity, etc. Yeah.
So if it's to combine, it's either one or two.
Yes, maybe maximum 2, but of course we don't recommend combining. It's much easier. It's actually much easier for you to take each fruit that you separate. But in case you combine, then make sure that you are not actually combining, the citrus fruits and other fruits, because the risk of getting some of the digestive disorders that we are seeing nowadays actually increases.
Okay, and we are going to be looking at that as well, because I hear some fruits will help you maybe in terms of your weight gain or even your weight loss and all that. But going back to breakfast before we can move away from this, if at all one wants to cut down, because that's always the main thing. I want to lose weight. In case I want to cut down on weight, what will consist of my breakfast? How will my breakfast look like if I want to cut weight? And on the flip side, if I want to gain weight, how will that breakfast look? Is there any difference? Ama sisi wote tunakula tu tushibe?
Now, as I said, when it comes to breakfast, the most important thing is we need to be keen in terms of food choices and the combination. We are supposed to take every breakfast, all of us.
Okay.
Yeah. The difference comes actually from maybe lunch and dinner.
Okay.
So whereby, of course, we are supposed to measure that the way we serve our foods actually changes, especially for people who want to lose weight. Of course, you're supposed to measure that you increase your vegetables, reduce your proteins and starches, which means that you need to understand which foods are actually classified under proteins and the starches, because some people don't get it right when it comes to that. I've seen people think that, nyama ni mboga ya kukula na ugali. If you go to rural areas and you say increase vegetables, you'll be surprised. The people think that beef is actually classified under vegetables. So, but what you're saying is you need to measure that you reduce the starches and the proteins and increase the vegetable. That is in case you want to lose weight. But of course, for people who want to gain weight, what they need to do is they need to increase the proteins and starches, and of course, take some vegetables, but of course, the portion of the vegetables needs to be less compared to the proteins and starches. Yeah.
So the portions is where
the objective is you want to increase your energy intake, because for weight gain, you need to measure that your energy intake is actually more than energy expenditure. But of course, for weight loss, we want to measure that the energy intake is actually less than the energy expenditure. The energy expenditure needs to be more compared to the energy intake for the weight to come down. Yeah.
Ooh, and that applies to all meals, not just breakfast.
Not just breakfast.
Okay. So whether it's my lunch, whether it's my supper.
Breakfast needs to be heavy, but of course the difference would actually come when you talk about lunch and dinner. Of course, plus your choice of the snacks. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Lunch.
Now, lunchtime, remember I said for lunch and dinner, the most important thing is you need to understand the 3 food groups. And of course, when you talk about vegetables, we are talking of vegetables like traditional vegetables like managu, terere. But you can also include other vegetables like spinach. I've seen people take cabbage. I don't know why people take a lot of cabbage. It's not that nutritious compared to the green vegetables.
Cabbage is not that nutritious?
Yeah, we prefer the green vegetables.
Okay.
Of course, there are people prefer vegetable salad, etc. Then of course, under the proteins, we have the plant proteins and animal proteins. Examples of plant proteins include we have the lentils, we have green grams, we have beans, etc. And then of course under the animal proteins we have chicken, we have beef, etc. Liver, hizo zote. And of course under starches we have the rice, ugali, chapati, matoke, etc. But the most important thing is the way we serve this food. So you need to measure that your lunch comprises of foods from the 3 food groups.
Okay.
But of course, you also need to make adjustments in terms of the way you serve your portions depending on what you want to achieve.
Sasa kama ni lunch, if at all I'm going to if at all I want to gain weight and I'm serving my lunch, so I will make sure that the carbs ni mingi. Ama ni kidogo.
That is in case you want to gain weight.
To gain weight, yes.
In case you want to gain weight, of course, you need to make sure that you increase your intake of starches and the proteins.
Okay.
But of course, when you talk about starches, we also have what you call the refined starches and complex starches. Okay. So what we discourage is actually the refined starches. Refined starches actually are not good because they actually converted into fat. And that, of course, could increase the risk of lifestyle diseases. So we've seen people want to gain weight, and in the process, of course, they end up getting lifestyle diseases. Like you don't want to gain weight by taking fast foods or refined starches. So meaning, first and foremost, you have to make the right food choices. The difference actually comes in the way you serve your foods. And meaning, again, if you want to gain weight, you cannot afford to skip your meals. There are people who could take more starches and proteins, but they are skipping most of their meals.
Okay.
Yeah, it simply means that you're not going to gain the weight. Yeah.
So you just have to have your meal, but again, the portions like you've told us.
Yes.
What are some of the refined starches that you're talking about?
Now, when you talk about refined starches, I mean, like if somebody's taking bread, we prefer that you take brown bread compared to white bread. Because white bread is actually refined. Refined means it actually doesn't contain fiber. You know, fiber is very important because it assists us when it comes to the digestion process, and of course it also makes us to get full faster. Yeah, we've seen people take a lot of starches, and in most cases it's because they take a lot of refined starches. Yeah, and when these starches actually get to the body, they're converted into fat, and that's what actually increases the risk of lifestyle diseases. Yeah.
Does that apply to also brown chapati? There are people who will prefer
of course we prefer brown chapati compared to the white chapati.
Okay.
Yeah, it's only that most people go for the refined starches because of the taste. You know, one of the reasons that's why people eat food is taste. You'll be surprised that people don't know which nutrients they are getting from their foods. It's because of the taste. And of course, that has actually made a number of people to gain excessive weight. So meaning what we need to do is we are not supposed to eat our foods because of the taste. Let's understand the nutrients that we are supposed to get from our foods, and that of course will assist us to interchange our foods, because that is the other mistake people make. I've seen people take the same foods on a daily basis. So by the end of the day, you are likely to lack some of the important nutrients that your body needs to be able to function the right way. Yeah.
All right. But also it's because of some people finances as well. So you'll tend to have the same kind of meal. Asubuhi Weetabix, sabala, you know, rice, and usiku it's ugali and something, and it's the same thing, you know, over and over. But I want us to take a short music break. When we come back, we're going to be looking at the dinner now, because you said many of us tunakula sana during dinner, but we are supposed to eat kidogo.